Have you hit that point in your business where you know it's time to bring in some extra support? You know that you're working at capacity, you are absolutely eyeballs out every day, and you have hit your ceiling. There is no more energy, there is no more time, and you've got to bring in some help. If you're at that stage, then you are probably facing the absolutely classic dilemma that every growing business goes through, which is, I know I need some help, but should I outsource? Should I use an outsourced supplier, or should I actually employ in-house? And I think this is a dilemma, as I say, for every growing business. And there are pros and cons to both options. So this week and next, I'm going two-parter. I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing versus employing. And I will also share with you my experience of taking on my own first employee, what my thoughts were behind that, and the impact of that as well, just to help you get a bit more perspective. So let's think first off, what sort of things could you outsource? The obvious things are classic VA tasks and activities. So your admin, anything to do with processes, you could use them to do things like your onboarding, you can use them for things like social media scheduling, some tech kind of stuff. You might use a marketer for strategy, for social media creation, for graphic design, for creating landing pages. So there's loads and loads of different options for work that you could outsource or you could employ in-house. Now, the first and most obvious advantage to outsourcing versus employing is that it is low commitment and low risk. It's a perfect opportunity to dabble at something, to dip a toe in the water, and you don't need employment contracts and HR support and various other things like that. So it can definitely be the safest, easiest of options. So this week I'm going to talk about the pros really of outsourcing, and next week I will talk about the pros of employing in-house. So why would you consider outsourcing rather than employing in-house? As I say, the first obvious reason is because you do get that opportunity to just dip a toe in the water. So if you're looking for VA support, for instance, then most VAs will do an introductory package of something like 4 hours of their time for about £100. So that's your maximum commitment at that point. So it's nice and low risk. Another advantage is that if it doesn't really work out, whether that's just the fact that you're not quite the right blend of personalities, they perhaps didn't quite have the skills that you were looking for, or maybe you actually weren't quite sure what support you needed, you're not committed for the long term to a VA. You will usually have either a no notice, a rolling period, a 30 days notice, something like that. So if it's not working, you can step away quite easily. You've not got that commitment of time, and you've not got a big commitment of money either. So this is all good. You could also use somebody like a VA to actually help you pave the way to bring in your own employee. So you can help them, you can work with them, they can help you rather to actually define that role, to define what processes you need, to define what you need somebody else to do, and to actually set up systems and processes so that when you do decide to bring in an employee, their role is already defined, they already have processes in place, and you can bring somebody in and they can get up and running really, really quickly, rather than bringing somebody in and then trying to work out what it is that they're going to do for you. So that can be a really fantastic way to use a VA. You also have the advantage with outsourcing in that you can use a variety of different specialists. So I have very often had 2 or 3 different VAs working for me, plus a marketer or a couple of different marketers at the same time. And that way, you're not looking for somebody who is all singing, all dancing. You can go to a number of different people for their absolute specialist skill set. So you might find that you're more able to get better skilled people by choosing a number of outsourced suppliers rather than trying to wrap all that into one perfect bundle of an employee for yourself. You also obviously have the advantages that there's no employment contract, you don't need HR support, there's no paid holidays or PAYE or any of that kind of complexity to add in either. I think the final thing I would say about outsourcing is, for me, it's a fabulous way to get started. When you're just looking to grow your team and you're not quite sure which way to go, you're probably not quite sure what you want somebody to do for you, or how long that should take them, or how easy it would be to actually outsource. That's the perfect time to use a VA, a marketer, a designer, or whatever it is you need. That's the perfect time. When you're not actually quite sure what it is you need, they will help you to clarify that, and you can work through that as you go along. And also, as I say, low risk, low commitment, but potentially high skilled as well. So those are the advantages of outsourcing. If you would like to know more about why would you then choose to employ rather than to outsource, then you will have to tune in to next week's vlog when I will explain all those juicy advantages too. I will see you then.